Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Vobes show with me, Richard Vobes, here on the 6th. Is it the 6th? It's just looking, I should know this by now. 6th of April, 2020. It's 8 o'clock British summertime here in the UK, and I am live. Yes, only just, but I am alive, thanks to the lovely Julia, who shoved some deep heat and some various other I don't know whether it was arnica or something that I've been rubbing into my back. She shoved it through the letterbox, which was very handy, very kind of her. Mission of mercy. And thank you, Julia, for that. In my quarantine state here, like everybody else, in their little houses of parliament, or where they have parlays, either with themselves or with, of course, the Vobie one-eyed Kenobi. And here we are on another excited. I don't know. I can't believe that another day has gone round already. Linda Kane out there has said, hang on a minute, Richard, I understand you did a live this afternoon. I didn't get a notification. Well, I put a postcard in the post. You should have got it by now, but maybe the postman's not delivering at the moment. The reason I did a live this afternoon was because I didn't have a second video to put out, which I normally put out at 2 o'clock. I say normally, I've been putting them out since this crisis, since we've all been locked down. I thought, well, okay, we'll make 2 videos a day then. Like, I can't go anywhere. I can't actually visit anywhere, but I'll make 2 videos. Yeah, that was a bit silly. If I hadn't done that, I'd have another week's worth of videos to put up, wouldn't I? Still, never mind. So instead of that, I thought, well, I don't want to disappoint people because I know, basically you'd be running around thinking, what the hell are we going to do with each other now that we've got no second video to watch for 10 minutes of our life? And I thought, I know, I'll do an hour's live, which we did. And we had a nice afternoon chatting about heritage, landscape and nature and books and all sorts of things, even working out. And Ed Loud told us just how wonderfully ripped he once was. Excuse me. And now it's only his genes that are ripped. But never mind. We've got more information than we possibly needed to know. We've got a lot of videos in tonight's show to show because we were lacking a couple of videos last night because we had such a fantastic night. The lovely Julia was here. It's hard to believe that she was here in person, albeit on the laptop, live from her home, broadcasting here and then broadcasting to you. But that seemed to be incredibly successful, and I am thrilled that you came along and supported that. Let's find out who is out there. I should just say I'm feeling a bit queasy this evening. The queasy because I've just rammed my dinner down my throat. Sausage, chips and beans. I've just rammed it down my throat. And now, it's like when you eat too quickly and you think, oh, God, I shouldn't have done that. But I was rushing to get everything in order. So that's the reason I'm feeling queasy. Of course, my bad back is a lot better, actually. But I'm going to try not to be too long tonight and try and get an early night, if that's at all possible. So don't hold me up. Don't keep me up late, is what I'm saying. Thank you. So, Andy Freeson, Andy Stacey, hello to you. Audrey, Forbes Hamilton, nice to see you. Barry Stevens, good to see you. Being There Photography, got to be there. Being There, great film with Peter Sellers. Don't know whether anybody remembers that. David Hawkins, hello to you. Dean Cooper, Ed Loud. Graham Roffey, nice to see you again, sir. Ian Beddoes, hello, IB, hope you're well. Thanks for the orchestration, by the way. Joe Currid, the lovely Judith, the lovely Julia. Kevin's Rambles, hello, mate. Lara, nice to see you out there, Lara. Presumably Ricky with you. Leslie Couch, Les Jarvis, Linda Kane. Mandy of Merrimack, nice to see you. Mayed, very nice to see you there. Mike Stevens, Miss K's Adventures, Nigel Sadler, Paul Smith, Philip Hammond, Robert Baxter, Robert Brailsfield, Robert Croser, Ron Langley, Roy Ballinger, Seeley Chase, Stephen Gully, hello to Stephen Gully, Tracy Murphy, hello Tracy Murphy, and Wendy Lowry, and no doubt other people who have just sneaked in whilst the teacher was reading the register. That always sort of happens, doesn't it? But hey-ho. We don't mind. We're just very thrilled that you're out there. So very nice to see you. Dean Cooper, hello to you also. Didn't mention you. You look live. P.S. I carry deep heat and freeze spray for my back if it goes during the day. Ah, good idea. Carry it around. I guess in your wagon that you drive about in. Where in Sussex says, once he was ripped, he's now shredded. Oh, yes, very good. And he has 6 shredded wheat for breakfast, so you be careful. Bella sends her best wishes. Thank you, Mike. That's very nice. Barbara Charles. Oi, forgot me. Yes, I know. I appreciate that. Sorry about that. Doing my best here. And yes, Julia's a bit upset now because Judith and Julia they're not the one. They're definitely not one. They are two individual people. Robert Baxter, he says, I think everyone's feeling quite low at the moment. It's come at a bad time for you with all this going on. Well, yes, it is. There's lots of bad things. I'm going to try and keep it light in the show today as much as possible. I suppose the good news is that Italy looks like there's more people who are anti the EU at the moment than ever before. So they might be the next that leave the European Union. I've just flown my colours there. Don't want to make this political in any way, but I just was listening to somebody who was mentioning that. Seemed quite funny to me. Mayed says, look forward hopefully to teaming up with you on Sunday. Ah, that's good old Ed. Yes, I've been asked by May Ed out there to join him on his internet show on Sunday at 8 o'clock. And I don't know how this is going to work, but we may well do a combined live stream. How is this going to work, Ed? Maybe you could give us a call, because on today's show you can call the Vobes. 0793 4746 790 is the number. Give us a call, Mayed, and tell us, I assume my phone is actually on, oh yes, and tell us how it's going to work. Give us a promo on what we're going to do, because to be honest with you, I just said, yeah, that sounds great, with no concept whatsoever what that was going to involve. So there we are. The number to call, 0793 4746 790. We've got some videos, so we will go to those, but I will give Mayed a chance to ring if he wants to. Robert Croser is there. Hello, Robert. Nice to see you. We will be seeing a bit of Robert Croser later tonight in tonight's show. Yeah, absolutely. And Turbo Stream, he says, I weeded my path today. Good man. I was that bored with the lockdown lark. Well, think how much you'll appreciate that when you haven't got time anymore to look at it. You'll whiz up that path and you'll get in your car and you'll be commuting off to whatever it is you do, and the weeded path will be there looking at you going, well, you did me, but now no one's looking at me, which will be a big pity. Steve G says, I'm happy. I've got a delivery of fruit today. What sort of fruit have you got, Steve G? Tell us, have you got anything exotic? And where did you get it? And who is growing fruit? And also, have you heard about the garden centres up and down the countryside who have closed? And they've got all this wonderful garden centre stuff which they don't know what to do with, and a lot of it's going to rot. It's a shame that we can't send Dean Cooper in his big wagon in the UK, and of course Jeff Kellison in his 75-ton wagon, to go and pick up some of these lovely plants and donate them to those people who can't get out and have, got nice flats and things, and maybe build a little forest of exciting things here in the studio. We have a phone call coming in. Let's find out who that is. Let me bang on my headphones and say, hello, caller, who are you?
Hello, Sir Vobes.
Oh, is that young Ed?
Well, less of the young, but it is Ed. How are you, sir?
Yes, I'm very well, thank you very much. Very kind of you to call in. I have been suffering with my bad back, but it is slowly getting back to normal, I'm pleased to say.
So are you sponsored by Deep Heat?
Did I actually mention that by name? I did have some. Yes, the lovely Julia did post some magic potions through my letterbox earlier today. Or is it yesterday? I'm getting confused on times. But yeah, so we could be, couldn't we? Could be sponsored. Be nice to be sponsored.
But by Deep Heat, of all things.
Yes, deep heat. Now, talking of deep heat, you've got a deep voice. You run a radio station, don't you, Ed?
Well, yes, I do.
Now, don't be bashful. You do. I've listened to it. It's great. You've even played a song I think you played Black Beauty, didn't you?
I think I did, and I played your theme tune as well.
And you played, yes, of course, you played my theme tune, which is a lovely piece of music by, what's his name?
Sid something.
Yes, there we are, Sid something. Wasn't it Keith Mansfield?
Sorry, yes, obviously Sid, Keith, similar.
Kneath. Yes. So tell me you've got this lovely radio station, which is something like A1 Radio or something, isn't it?
That's exactly what it is. Yes, it's been going for just over 9 years now.
9 years, streaming on the internet to a person on the other side of the world.
Yeah, to an audience of one. No, it's not quite that bad.
But yes, I mean, but, like me, we never quite know when we open the microphone and, or in my case, the video camera, who is going to tune in.
Very true, and that's the magic of it, I always think.
Yes, no, you're absolutely right. So you're doing this thing, and you said to me, hey, Richard, do you fancy coming on my show? And I thought, yeah, I do, actually. That sounds...
And you foolishly said yes.
I know, I do say yes to a lot of things. It gets me into a lot of trouble. But I usually duck underneath the table and nobody knows I'm there. So, tell me how it's going to work, because you suggested that we do this at the same time as each other is broadcasting. Is that right?
Well, yes, I believe you will be live, if all goes well, at 8 o'clock on Sunday evening yourself.
Yes.
I intend to be live at Sunday at 8 o'clock, which obviously, and I do apologise, going head-to-head against you. But,
no, that's quite all right.
But yes, I thought, well, this may not work as per the picture I sent to you, but I've seen the setup you have there, the extensive broadcast facilities that you use, and I thought they look very similar to mine.
Excellent.
So, yeah, I am moderately confident that it could work.
So I download this extra little bit of software, which will link me to you.
And me to you.
And me to you. And then through my desk, I can put your feed in so that the lovely viewers can hear you. And you're going to be interviewing me about me.
And yes, I thought let's open up the Vobes to my listeners, a lot of whom do know you because your promo goes out many times a day on my station.
Oh, yes, I forgot about that. Thank you very much for that. That's very kind of you.
I'm sure you've noticed a huge uptake in the viewers.
Do you know, because of that, I believe that we had one extra person who did dither around the YouTube channel and then found a nice rival to watch.
Yeah.
No, I'm joking. I'm sure. To be honest with you, we've had 1,000 viewers and new subscribers in the last month. It took me nearly a year to get the first 1,000. And then they've been escalating like 9 pins after that. Not so much for the Vobe show, but for the Bald Explorer.
I think we've noticed ourselves, now I've got more presenters than I can shake a stick at willing to do shows because they're all at home.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, we've broken, these last 2 weeks, all our records for listeners.
That's a shame. What do you play now then? I suppose you've got it all digital, haven't you? So it doesn't matter about the records.
I can play records, but we're on the whole, digital is far easier than 8-track.
Yeah, 8-track, blimey. Did you think, is there any, I mean, you know the industry, but is there any radio stations that still do vinyl?
Most proper radio studios will probably have a turntable somewhere, but
yes.
We occasionally, one or two of our presenters will spin a disc, but everyone does it digitally now.
So now I'm getting questions out there. So Mr. Big says, what's Ed's radio station called? Where can we find you if we're looking for it?
You can find it by either Googling, by asking your Alexa, or just by going to a1radio.co.uk.
a1radio.co.uk. And what sort of stuff do you do on your radio station?
Pretty much anything you can think of. The vast majority of our shows are request-based, so I've always had the one rule to all the presenters, which is they can play anything they or the listeners like, as long as it doesn't have excess profanity. Yes.
So it's a nice listen, whether it be heavy metal or a little bit of easy listening.
It's mainly easy listening, and to give you an idea, the number one requested song to this day still is Toto with Africa.
Oh, is it? Gosh. Blimey, how interesting is that? There was a programme about... don't you ever listen to Radio 4?
I believe it exists.
It does exist. And I just happened to be in the car and I switched it on and they were talking about music that affected people, and they were talking about Toto's Africa. And it was a marvellous thing about people thinking that originally it wasn't going to be a success and it was all a sort of a bit of a backwater thing, and suddenly it had massive appeal and people were copying it and doing all sorts of stuff, and it was changing people's lives. This is what they said on the radio. I mean, it's probably a load of old cods.
Well, it probably changed their bank balance.
Yes, I think it did. I don't think they expected it to go quite as popular. So presumably you have to have PRS and all that nonsense.
PRS and PPL fees, yes. We are fully legit and fully licensed, yes.
Yes. I don't understand what those terms are, and nobody's ever come to ask me, luckily. But with YouTube, of course, they do it all for you. We don't have to worry about that, and then they take the revenue from us.
Oh, I bet they do.
Yes. Well, we get so little, us YouTubers, we get so little of the revenue anyway. It's something like it's 0.001 every time it gets played. It's some ridiculously pointless amount, so that you do need to have something like 50,000 plus subscribers or viewers or whatever it is in order to get a check of 10 quid out the end of it.
So can you sit there clicking refresh yourself?
No, because I think they count the IP address. So once, they're canny, these people. Very canny. Just look and see if anybody's asking any. Oh, yes, the theme, that's right. David Lindup, thank you very much. Steve Pilfold. He's also a disc jockey during the fireworks in Lewis.
He is. I know Steve very well.
Yes, so he's always right. You don't want to get on the wrong side of Steve, because he always... Steve and I, we get on really well, but he's always right. Just so you know. And he is right, actually. It's David Lindup with, it's called Zodiac, my theme.
It is.
Yes. So I love all that kind of music, that sort of 60s kitsch music, Sid Dale, and all the others that did all that kind of stuff.
I knew it was a Sid somewhere.
Yeah, Sid. I mean, when I used to do my podcast years ago, which was called The Vobes Show, and I used to use all of that music as beds. Fantastic. It was just sort of very, very radio, really. very, very sort of old school radio. And I love it. It's just...
See, I have a problem with beds, though, which is I enjoy a good voiceover bed, but I enjoy them too much and stop talking and listen to them, which kind of defeats the object.
Yes, that's true. That can happen. I mean, I would talk over it and then I would just zoom it in, fade it in. And you didn't use an auto fader, when you've got one of these things that will dumb your background down and bring your voice in. I would always do it by manual because I wanted that control.
Same here.
Yeah, so much, the more manual control. I used to run 3 computers, and one I could be chatting to the podcast, because I would record it as if it was live. It wasn't live. It was all pre-recorded, half an hour every day. But it was as if it was live. Sometimes one of the computers would crash, and you would hear it break down, and it would have this whine. I'd quickly fade it out. And I used to have the computers at the other end of the shed that it was in, and I wouldn't cut, and because I could cut in a podcast, but I wouldn't. And I would go, and you'd hear me getting up and going over and saying, "Bloody thing's just conked out again. Hold on a minute, everybody. I'm just going to give it a whack with a hammer." And I would bang the side of the wall whilst restarting the computer, and then, just carry on. And people loved it. They loved the things going wrong.
Well, I'm pleased to say that I have many technical faults on a daily basis.
Well, let's hope on Sunday you won't have too many technical faults other than me arriving, and we'll have a good old chinwag, and it will be good fun.
I look forward to it, sir.
I look forward to it, Ed. Lovely for you to give me a call.
Lovely to speak to you, sir. Speak to you soon.
Take care. All the best.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. That's the lovely Ed Keeley, who runs his own radio show, A1 Radio. Check it out on Google after the show is finished. And lots of stuff, and you can see the different presenters and all the different people, and people like Ed and people like me and people, these little one-man bands. We are the future, and we're probably also the past as well. But never mind all that. Boris Johnson, apparently, we've got some news from David Hawkins, has been moved to intensive care. That does sound like a bad thing rather than a good thing. Robert Baxter says, "I drive for DX Logistics." That's Dean Cooper. An 8-track 8-track. Somebody going, what? 8-track? I remember it. Remember, what was that 8-track you used to have in cars? That, like, it was one great long piece of tape that looped over quite wide with 8 tracks on it. And you could select what position you were in. Blimey. I never really had it. I never really got into that. I got into cassettes, but not into 8-track. We must show a video. Excuse me. Lots of videos. I've got to get through the videos. So thank you for the calls. Hold the calls. Hold the calls, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go into the video box and see what we've got in here at the moment. Just looking to see what I'm going to play in. I think I'm going to start with a moment of Murphy. We haven't had a moment of Murphy for a couple of days, so let's start with a bit of moment of Murphy, and here he is.
Hi everyone, it is Andrew Murphy back for another Moment of Murphy. Today is Saturday the 4th of April 2020, and recently Richard did a video on the Bold Explorer channel all around Titchfield Abbey, and that got me thinking, how many road names can I spot in my local area that has a meaning with Titchfield Abbey? Let's go and find out, shall we? Where I've started in my local park, in total I think I've counted 10 road names that all have a connection with Titchfield Abbey in around a half-mile radius of my home. I would just like to thank you for your company, and until next time, bye for now.
And there we go, another lovely moment of Murphy. How wonderful is that? That's fantastic. Thank you so much for that, Andy. Andy Murphy. I've suddenly had a brain freeze there for a moment. Anyway, fantastic. Lovely to see it. Do give us another one in a couple of days if we're still allowed out. Brilliant stuff. We've got lots of videos, so I want to go through the videos in today's thing, but I want to just say a big thank you to Keith Carter if he's watching. Hello, Keith. He got in touch with me and he says, Richard, I want to support your Bold Explorer stuff, but I'm not very good at PayPal and the internet stuff. He said, do you do a credit card? Can I pay by credit card? And I thought you could do that through the PayPal system, but apparently you can't. So, or at least he struggled with it. So I said, well, I do accept a cheque. And, of course, he said, yeah, I can write you a cheque. So he sent me a cheque, which was very nice. Thank you very much. Very kind. So I just wanted to say a big thank you. And I will send you a thank you email just in case you don't watch the Vobes show, which is very possible. And whilst I'm here, I want to shout out to Steve and Gloria. You know who you are. Apparently, Gloria has handed over some cash to Steve, who watches the show. And sent some lovely Mazuma my way, which is fantastic. That will keep the Smarties in. I should get some Smarties in here or something. Something to munch on when the videos are going. So, and they say, could you give me a big shout out? And of course, I'll give you a big shout out to Steve and Gloria. I hope that was big enough. So, yeah, thank you so much. How lovely is that? So nice. People are actually very, very nice out there. I don't know what these people are who aren't so nice. And a big thank you to Linda Kane, who was obviously getting a bit bored with the videos that I've been shoving out recently. And she has sent me a whole load. I've been meaning to bring these into the studio. It sent me a whole load of local walks and town trails that one can get into. So we've got things like Heritage Worthing Town Trail, lots of interesting places in there. 2 of those. Well, 4 of those, I beg your pardon. Broadwater. I did cover quite a few of those on Broadwater, but not in as much depth as it has in here. Tarring. I've got a video where I creep round Tarring at the in the dead of the morning, but I may well creep round there again with a bit more info. Goring Trail, which does sound good. And in there I noticed that Richard Jefferies' house, and I do want to visit the graveyard where Richard Jefferies is buried, and there's a couple of other interesting people buried in there. The Pub Trail, pubs that were and no more trail. Salvington and Durrington, which is fairly near. Sisbury Ring and Highdown Trail. So Linda, thank you so much. She's so thoughtful. And I will go and bore everybody senseless with the trails if we're still allowed to exercise, if, things go a bit pear-shaped. So there we are. Thank you so much for that. Everyone's thanking Andrew Murphy for his wonderful video. There we are. I got it right. It was Andrew. Sometimes, you think, because I've got you listed down here just purely as Murphy. And then it reminds me it's a moment of Murphy, which is lovely. Robert Croser says, thankfully, I don't need blue Smarties. No, we'll find out, actually, if Robert Croser does. But before Robert Croser, let's go and have I'm going to just run through some of these videos. Ed Loud has been out. He's been allowed out, and he's made a fantastic video. Let's have a look at it. I can't remember the name of the park off the top of my head, but I'm sure he'll tell us where he is. Over to you, Ed.
Hello everyone, it's Ed here. Today I'm taking a shortcut through the woods on my way to do some shopping. I'm walking through a site of special scientific interest called Oxley's Woodlands. It's a 72-hectare site on the northern slopes of Shooters Hill, mostly in the Royal Borough of Greenwich. Oxley's Woodlands forms part of a wider nature reserve called Oxley's/Shooters Hill Woodlands. It contains all manner of interesting things, from meadows to an underground water reservoir. Some of the woodland dates back over 8,000 years to the end of the last ice age. Oak, silver birch, hornbeam, coppice hazel and many other examples of wild service tree are also to be seen here. These woods are yet another wonderful green space, proving London is more than just an overgrowth of concrete. Myself and my grandfather Phil spent many happy hours wandering these woods, and even at the young age of 95, when his legs had grown tired, he enjoyed getting over the wonderful terrain in his wheelchair. Sharing the camera with me is Sevendrew Castle, which is a folly designed by architect Richard Jock. The first stone was laid on the 2nd of April 1784. It's open to the public and contains rooms to hire for functions and a tea room where you can purchase refreshment. In 1993, plans that threatened part of the woodland were withdrawn. They called for part of the woodland to be torn down, making way for new roads leading to a new river crossing. A local protest group had been formed and over 3,000 people and organisations signed a pledge promising to partake in civil disobedience to defend the woodland. Thank you for joining me in my short trip through these woodlands. I'll hand you back to Richard in the studio now. Cheerio, everyone.
There we go. That's amazing. And it looks like he's giving me a bit of a run for my money, or his money. My money. Run for my money. There we are. That's the phrase. Ed, that was spectacular. Thank you very much. And all that information and all those words and all that posing. You certainly got the knack of that, and the smart jacket and all of that. Fantastic. I look forward to the next adventure in Ed Loud's world. Superb. Somebody asked, hang on, let's just go into the chat thing here, because somebody asked where to buy these heritage trails, and I don't know where Linda Kane got them, but on the back it says worthingheritagealliance.org.uk. The Worthing Heritage Trails are created by Worthing Heritage Alliance. So I don't know if that helps. If you go on there, I dare say they've got a website and it will show you how to... yeah, there we are. It's on the front as well. And if you want, you can scan the little... whatever they call those cube things. You can scan that and put them on your mobile phone, which saves you carrying a piece of paper. Because a mobile phone is a lot lighter and less troublesome when it gets wet. So that was that. And also, Linda's just reminded me that, hang on, Linda Kane, Richard Jefferies, W.H. Hudson, the naturalist, and authors are both buried in the closed Broadwater ceremony, which is at the moment a sea of primroses. Linda, is it open at the moment? Can I, if I went out for an excursion this morning, could I go there? And do you know where their plots are? Because no doubt I'll be, looking forever and ever. And I would like to go and visit his house, which I know is in Goring. But Linda, yeah, that's the question I'm asking. Is it open at the moment, or have they closed it off so that people don't go wandering around? That would be fantastic. But thank you so much. Yes, people are saying more. Ed Loud, do more videos. So there we are. Lots of people telling us about Boris Johnson. We've got the news now that he is in ICU. Thank you for that. And as I think Barry said, that he's only there just in case he needs a ventilator, so we don't need to overly worry. Let's keep it light in today's show if that's possible. So much so, we're going to go very light now because it's time for a little bit of dog racing. Yes, indeed. It is now for the Whippet Race Challenge. Over to Dave Ford, who will tell us all about it. I think it has something to do with sausages.
Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the grand final of the 2020 Sausage Race competition. It's a glorious, sunny spring day in Dorset here, and whilst a lot of the major events this year aren't taking place due to COVID-19, there's no London Marathon, there's no Grand National, there's no boat race. I'm delighted to say that the sausage race is still going ahead. Now, obviously, due to the government movement restrictions that are in place at the moment, there's not going to be a crowd here. Normally, you'd expect 2,000 or 3,000 people watching this grand final, but today it's going to be behind closed doors. Let's meet the finalists. And in trap 1, it's Sunset Warrior, also known as Monty, 6 years old, born in Chichester, winner of the 2018 Salisbury and South Wiltshire Canine Society Christmas Match Sausage Race. And in trap 2, Danluke Lord Sugar, also known as Logan, 4 years old, born in Sunderland, very much the newcomer on the block, lacking experience. Well, let's have a little look at the course today. There was a little bit of rain last night, which would have been perfect for the ground conditions today. Going is good with some firm patches, and the rules are fairly simple. Each dog has to start in its starting box, and according to the rules, each one has to eat its own sausages in its own lane, and the dog that finishes on plate number 4 first, having eaten all its other sausages, has gained, or called the winner. The stewards may be required, as sometimes competitors interpret the rules slightly differently to those that are set out in the rulebook. A quick look at the betting. Monty was available in the village this morning at 5 to 6, opened up on the course at 1 to 2, been money for him all day, currently 2 to 5. Logan, who was 6 to 5 in the morning papers, opened up on course at 94 but has drifted out to 100 to 30.
Coming under starters' orders, Monty on the right, Logan on the left. And they're off, and Logan's got off to a fly, but he's overshot plate 1 and gone straight to plate 4, and now Monty's switched lanes. Monty back into the correct lane now, but Logan switched lanes. It's going to be close, but it's gold for Monty. But there's almost certainly going to be a steward's inquiry, and the result is under review with VAR. Well, let's look at an action replay from a different camera angle. And Logan got off to a great start, but just watch Monty as he switched lanes. But then he did get back into his own lane and went on to eat all 4 of his sausages. He might be all right. The on-field decision was a win for Monty. The stewards have got a headache on this one.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm delighted to say I've been joined by the winner, Monty. Congratulations. Do you have anything to say about your win today? No, totally speechless and overcome and overwhelmed with emotion. His prize, of course, a sausage, and of course the prestigious trophy, which will, of course, will have a sausage in it. There we go. You found it? Got there. Well, we hope you enjoyed our coverage of the 2020 sausage race. It was controversial. There was a very long steward's inquiry, but we got a winner at the end. Back to Richard in the studio.
How about that, eh? I'm absolutely loving the inventive and creative skills that's going on out there. What with Andrew Norris and his dog cam, and now Dave Ford with the sausage races, the whippet sausage races. And didn't they whip it, those sausages off those plates? Fantastic work. Well done, Dave. Did make me laugh. He did send me an email beforehand saying it's a little bit longer than you would normally like, but, you know, the entertainment value. And I always think if the entertainment value is there, then I don't mind it being a little longer. If it's too long and drawn out and it's just, you know, goes on and on and on, obviously not so good. That's why I say roughly 2 minutes is good. But thank you so much. That was really great. You can check out Dave Ford. Dave's walks and Logan, put that in. I can't remember the exact URL of it, but if you put Dave Ford and Logan into YouTube, you'll find his YouTube channel. And if I don't know if Dave's out there. I can't remember if I saw Dave's name there or not. It must be out there. I'm sure he'll put the name up so that you can check it out after the show. It's all good fun. So that's absolutely brilliant. Linda Kane says, I think the cemetery is open. It's a very large area, 24,488 burials, but can't be sure. The leaflets are available in a few places, including the library, which is closed, of course, at the moment. There are others besides the ones I sent to Richard that I had on my shelf. Not Richard, the leaflets. Yes, you didn't send me any of the... yeah, whatever. Anyway, so she says that was very amusing, Dave. Fantastic. So I'm hoping that once my back is in a bit more of a amiable situation and we're allowed, I shall nip out early and do some of these trails and bring them to you. I'm not just going to turn up at each place. I should just point out, let's find a typical one. Here, Salvington and Durrington. So on the one side of this, you get a map with the walk on it, and the walk seemed to be about an hour or so, with lots of different places that you can... Where's my webcam when I want it? Where's the webcam when you want it? It's here looking very fine. There we go. So you get a lot of... get a lot of the information. You get a map, shows you where everything is. Then on the other side, you get the information that corresponds to it. So it does look rather spectacular. Thank you so much, Linda. That's really, really kind. Now, I just want to prepare my video box. I thought that was going to happen. Hang on a minute. I thought that was going to happen, so I didn't want that to happen. So, sorry about that. I don't know how it got out of that one, but if anyone wants to give me a call, now is the time to give me a call. We won't take many calls tonight because we're going to get through the videos and try and have an early-ish finish. And we're already 20 to 9 as it goes. You're welcome to give me a call on 0793 474 6790. Dave Ford. There he is. He says, type in, that's right, New Forest Walks with Dave Ford in YouTube and it will come up. All inspired, he says, by the old Vobie One-Eyed Kenobi. And I have to say, Dave's getting really good at these, like Ed and others, giving me a run for my money. And there's me just running out and just sort of holding the camera and doing very little at the moment, which does make it all look a bit naff. But once we have finished with this dreadful situation, I certainly want to up my game. I need to up my game because all you lot are doing far better than I am. So that's all good. Ernie's just tally-hoed and checked in. Hello, Ernie. Nice to see you. Thank you for coming by, which is good. Quality work. Everybody loved it. It was funny. I think at the weekend, however, there's going to be a change in the weather. It does sound like there's going to be some rain. So maybe we won't feel so bad about being stuck inside if the weather is fine. We had an overcast day here this morning, but it soon got nice and sunny. And I did, even though I've got a bad back, I did manage to warm it up a bit, had a chat with my friend Mark English, and then having sort of warmed my back a bit, I did manage to go out and make some sort of cobbled together video. Nothing to the standard of Dave Ford and Ed Loud, but it will be up tomorrow morning. Hopefully. I've scheduled it all up so that when the show finishes, I can just tuck into my covers and try and catch up with some sleep. Mike Dixon says, I hope Boris Johnson is okay. Yep, we do all hope that. Andrew Norris, what ho, Vobesters? Sorry I'm late to the party. No problem. I hope you're all right up there in Croatia and that there's no terrible news. You've just missed Dave Ford and his whippet. You'll have to watch that on the rerun. Absolutely hilarious sausage racing. That was really great. Ed Loud says, my brother says you look like a news reporter when you stack your paperwork, Richard. Oh, yes, at the end of the news. And so, well, it's good night from him, and it's good night from him. Good night. Well, that's another little bit of bad news, isn't it, tonight? Oh, yes, Barry, that was dreadful, especially the cricketing fixtures. I wasn't talking about the cricketing fixtures. What were you talking about then, Barry? I was talking about the lady in the chip shop. I think I missed that story, Barry. Is that true? Yes, I wasn't paying attention. I was stacking my own papers like that. Oh, well, the lady in the chip shop, little old lady goes into a chip shop. Oh, yes, Barry. What happens then? Well, I was going to tell you if you didn't interrupt me. Oh, I'm so sorry, Barry. Little lady goes into the chip shop. What does she ask for? Fish and chips? No, she didn't ask for that, Barry. I'm trying to tell you exactly what happened, Barry. It's tragedy, terrible tragedy. Oh, was it cotton chips, or did she have some sausages? I watched this film with Whippets, and they had sausages. It's a very jolly good film, it was. Yes, that's all very well, Barry, but I'm trying to tell you about this lady in the Whippet shop. In the Whippet shop? No, not in the Whippet shop. I meant the sausage shop. Don't you mean the fish and chip shop? Yes, that's exactly... Oh, that doesn't matter. I'm just going to tell you the lady fell in the deep fat fryer. That was all I was going to tell you. I wish you'd got to that earlier. Really not interested now, Barry. I'm going home for my tea. Oh, yes? What are you going to have for your tea? Fish and chips with a bit of whippet on the side. Lovely. Well, that's good night from me, and a load of old nonsense from him. Good night. Yeah, I suppose can look a bit like a newsreader. I'm glad you mentioned it. Dave Hawkins says, I hope you brought a note. Yes, we want a note, but of course you won't be able to bring it round because he's stuck inside, isn't he? Your back looks more mobile, says Linda Kane. Yes, thank goodness. Yes, look at that, me twisting around. But actually, the truth is, if I move like this... Oh, I can't get round now. Hang on. I'm on a chair. I'm on a swivelly chair. I haven't actually moved at all. I'm like Davros from Doctor Who. Whoops, don't do that. The whole desk will fall down. Yes, Davros from Doctor Who. I used to be able to do Dalek impressions. I'm not sure if I'm going to risk it with my voice that's been going, but I used to. I might do Dalek impression on another occasion. People have seen me do the Dalek impression. It's very good, actually. It's very, very good. I'm blowing my own trumpet. Let's do another video. Let's see what's in. Nobody's called, so we'll ditch the phone line. Let's have a look in the old video box. Okay, now, I don't know if you remember, Gabriel rang up the programme the other day and wanted to know about my bicycle. And I brought my bicycle, and I think Dean asked about my bicycle, and I brought my bicycle in here. And then Gabriel rang up because he works for a well-known bicycle selling company. They also sell car spares and bits and pieces. And he said he was going to make a video to help anybody who's got a bicycle, who's bringing it out of the shed for the first time and thinking of going cycling on it, and an instruction thing of what you could do to check over your bike. And he sent me the very video. He's a good man. Thank you, Gabriel, if you're still out there. So we're going to have a look at that. Prepare to take notes. You may need a piece of paper. Have a piece of paper. Get a pen ready. Take notes. Over to you, Gabriel.
Hello. I thought I'd put together a short video just to explain to you some of the basic safety points that need to be looked at when you're getting a bike out of storage and maybe using it for the first time in quite a while. Okay, so starting at the front wheel, obviously you need to test that your wheel is suitably inflated and that it hasn't got a puncture. So you can clearly see the tyre pressure marked on the tyre here, and it's a range of between 30 and 55 psi. The next thing you should do is go to the front of the bike and just spin the wheel, and hopefully you'll see that this rim isn't bent. Reference between here and the fork, that gap should stay the same on both sides. The next point to look at is here, the headset. Now this is where the bearing, sorry, that's the cat. This is where the bearing comes through from your handlebars down to your fork. All you need to do is basically put your finger here, roughly, where the forks join the frame, grab the bottom of the forks and try and wobble backwards and forwards. There should be no movement there. Okay, so that's the front of the bike. The front brakes should stop your bike very, very easily and very, very quickly as soon as you push them. Okay, there should be no hesitation and they shouldn't be rubbing. If your brakes are rubbing, it's going to make it harder for you to cycle. Moving back along the frame, obviously just check it if there's any rust, any marks or any damage to the frame. Your saddle should be firmly clamped on. There should be no movement at all at the saddle head. If you've got a quick release, then make sure that quick release is done up tightly. Coming to the back of the bike, same with the wheel. Check the pressure, check your tyre, check you've got tread on your tyres as well. Turn the wheels using the cranks. If you haven't got a stand, you can do this with the bike upside down on its handlebars and saddle. Excuse me please, Sue. Okay, rotate the gears and then operate the gear shift, which is here. Operating the gear shift while moving the wheels around checks that your gears are working properly. Okay, they should go all the way from end to end smoothly. This bike doesn't have front gears, some of them do. There'll be what they call a front derailleur here, and you'll have another gear selector here. So that's your gears. Your brakes, again at the back, you should check that your rear brakes are indeed working. So providing your brakes are working, your frame is in good condition, the bike is changing gear, nothing is loose. Your pedals also, you should take them and just wipe them to side. There should be no lateral movement there. And the last check you can do is if you grab the rim of your wheel and try and move it from side to side, there should be no movement like that. If this moves, then that means your bearings need tightening up. So everything we've spoken about so far is adjustments really. If you need a new inner tube or new brake pads, then obviously you will need to replace those. If you check your chain and that's rusted, you'll need a new chain. But everything else I've discussed can be adjusted pretty easily. There are many other videos online. Park Tool do a very good series of videos. Basically, those checks will make sure your bike is safe for the road.
Well, I'm sorry about the sound on that. It was as loud as I could make it my end. It was in places quite quiet. Sorry about that, Gabriel. It's probably too far away from the microphone. But, you know, we got the idea, and it was very kind of you to make the video. I certainly have learned something from that, and I'm not sure that my wheels are true. I don't know that they're completely straight. I think one of them's a bit buckled, because every time it goes round, it goes in. You've got the brake pads here, and it sort of seems to, you know, get close to the brake pads, and sometimes when you spin it, it just stops. So there is adjustment needed. I don't really know how to do all these adjustments. Years ago, when I was a kid, they all seemed so much easier. But then I only had 3 gears, I think, and that was about it. Not that I'm saying the bike I've got is terribly fancy, but it does its job. Dean says that's a new bike. Fiona Cooper could hear it okay. Some people seem to have heard it better than others. I don't know why that should be, but so there we go. Good evening to Henry's Adventures. Good evening to you, sir. I hope you are well and doing good things. It's nice to see you joining us towards the end of our show. Mike Stevens says, yes, the video looked great and actually worthwhile. It was just the sound. And obviously, this is a thing that a lot of people don't realise, and that is that sound is the most important thing in a video. You can make it look crystal clear and all of those things, but if the sound is a bit below par, it can really affect the video. So always try and work on the sound more than you work on the video. You'll notice that pretty much all my videos, I've spent a bit of extra effort making the sound good. Apart from one I did on my bicycle the other day when I lost the main audio. I said I lost it in the video, to be honest with you. I did the classic thing of thinking that I'd pressed the audio recorder on, seeing the UV meter going up and down and thinking, oh yeah, it's recording, and not actually having switched it on. In the end, I had to utilise the sound that came out of the GoPro. I was just looking to see if one was here. The sound on the camera, which I rarely ever use the sound on the camera. But luckily I was able to salvage it, and I sort of bodged the video together and made it work. Mike Stevens says, you are very loud and clear, Richard. Yes, you see, in the studio here, let me just show you what I see so you get a vague idea. Let's come out of that and go back to the show here. If you look on the right-hand side, I can't zoom in very easily. I can't lean over the desk. If you look on the right-hand side, you'll see there are some meters. And I can see, hang on, which one am I? Where am I? I'm in the second from the bottom. You can't really see it terribly clearly. But I can monitor mine and see how loud I am. Quite loud there because I'm right close to the microphone. Whereas, unfortunately, on that particular video, Gabriel's sound, when he was standing back by the bike, it was distant. And then when he was in close-up, because he was closer to the microphone, which was obviously on the camera, it was a bit louder. But hey-ho. The main point is, Gabriel, you made the effort of making a video and you sent it to me. And for that, I could hear it. And I'm very grateful. So thank you very much. And I learnt some stuff. So that's all good. Ed Loud says, so true about sound. I manually had to do the audio ducking on the sound for my video. Edited it using Audacity, which is a free program. You can download that. I do use Audacity. And then I actually export mine into something else. Henry's Adventures, I've lost audio in the past, and it is the most frustrating thing, absolutely most frustrating. Especially, or if you've made a good recording and it's all ruined by wind, you'll be amazed how many people will put a video up that is all and it's a shame, because that's what lets the video down. You can get away with blurred, shaky footage that's almost imperceptible, but if your sound is good, it will still make the video look good. Believe me, I know what I'm talking about. I think Richard needs a new bike, says Dean Cooper. Being There Photography says, sorry about the sound on my bike video. Oh, that's it. That's you, Being There Photography. Being There's Gabriel. Hello, Gabriel. On my bike, my road. Oh, your road microphone is on loan, is it? Oh, not to worry, Gabriel. We certainly enjoyed the video, so please don't take it personally or as a criticism. As I say, you made the video for me, and I'm absolutely eternally grateful. I'm not internally or externally, but I'm eternally grateful. You've got to get the right... it's very easy to cock up the words in the English language, isn't it? So there we go. There, the lovely Julia says, thanks for the video. Glenn Johnson says, I use Audacity, had latency issues, but good now. We're going to end on a bit of Robert Croser tonight. So let's go into our video box. And Robert, oh no, hang on, we've got two. We've got Robert Croser and Nigel Sadler. I beg your pardon. We'll go to Robert Croser as I've given him up. Yes, the wind, I've learned this since starting to make videos. Let's see if Robert Croser has any wind issues. It's over to Robert. Where the hell are you today, Robert?
Hello, Vobonauts. Where do you find me today? Well, I'm at the end of the known world. Well, the end of the known world if you were Roman. This is the end of the Roman wall, or the start of the Roman wall. This is Bowness on Solway, and that behind me, see that dark line in the distance? That is Scotland, and here is the Solway Firth. Now, I'm on the beach today, and I'm going to be walking from Bowness on Solway to Port Carlisle. It's only about 3 or 4 miles, but there is so much to see when you get here. It has a sense of being in the middle of the nowhere, and it really is in the middle of the nowhere. There's nothing here. I mean, yeah, it's a beautiful village. It's got a tea room, it's got a pavilion that shows you are at the end of the Roman wall. Lovely church, but there's hardly anything left of the wall itself. There's no bits of masonry sticking out the ground. There's no vallum, ditch. There's no embankments. There's absolutely nothing. But there is an embankment. The embankment is for a railway that went over the Solway Firth, closed in about 1920-21 because it kept getting hit by icebergs. I kid you not, icebergs. Wow. About to say, not long after Titanic, eh? No, but the Solway Viaduct was the longest in the world. Now, the embankment on the English side is still there. I'm going to take some photos and you'll be able to see them later. And the embankment over on the Solway side at the town of Annan, that's still there too. So that's still there. But as far as anything Roman, absolutely diddly squat. Nothing. No, there's nothing, isn't it? You're right, Mark. How's it going? Hello, Richard. Kevin here. Sorry, I thought I'd get those in. Anyway, all I can smell is the sea air. Been like back in Cornwall. Hey, Mark. Hello, Nikki. Calm down. Yeah, it's absolutely beautiful. The sun is shining. Richard thought it was going to pour down today. I don't know what it's like over in Northumberland for the lovely Cheryl, but here it's an absolutely beautiful day. I mean, look at those clouds behind me. It is absolutely beautiful. You have to come. And I was going to fetch Richard here, and even Richard and the lovely Julia here, but we never got to it. I took Richard out to some Buddhist monastery. Not a good idea. He hated the place, and looking back I can see why. But here in the rain and the wind wouldn't have been a good idea. But hopefully he'll come next time he comes up, whenever that is, next year I would think now. But it really needs to be seen, and it really needs an old pro like Richard to actually see this. I don't have a great deal more to say. Yes folks, I'm back. I'm feeling a hell of a lot better than I was. Still not 100%, but getting there. And thank you for all those messages. I'm looking well, aren't I? Thanks for all the messages, private messages and otherwise. Thanks for all the likes on my pictures. I do try my best. I really should start a YouTube channel and do this thing like Richard does, but I'd be competition, and how can I ever match the Vobinator? Well, I could shave my head, wear shorts. No. Anyway, toodle pip. see the videos later and enjoy the rest of your day, because I certainly am. Ta-ta!
And there we are, the wonderful Robert Croser there. In a, funny enough, I'm beginning to think I'm the BBC. Is this a programme full of repeats? Good gracious, we try not to repeat stuff. This is the file I received. I thought it looked a little bit familiar, but there we are. We've got it again. So I suppose we have to send the repeat money over to Robert. I don't know if you can hear in the background. There's a noise in the background here. Sounds like the builders are in. It's actually my washing machine spinning. Somebody's put in their washing into the machine, which is a bit of a nuisance as I'm broadcasting live. But never mind, to 80 exciting people who are sitting there on the edge of their seat thinking, Robert Croser, who's he? What's that about? So there'll be some people who've never seen that before, so don't worry about it. It's all good fun. Thank you very much, though, for sending that. I'm going to try and end the show, as I said earlier, fairly swiftly tonight. So we're going to finish on tadpoles. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to swarming tadpoles to relax and entertain. Nigel Sadler's got the gen on this. Nigel.
Hello, Nigel Sadler again. This time we have a very short but very simple video with birdsong in the background, looking at all the tadpoles in our little garden pond. I hope it focuses. I wish I had a polarizing lens for this camera, but I don't. There we go, teeming with life.
Wow, what about that? Millions of those tadpoles. But the thing that worries me is very soon there'll be tiny, tiny little frogs. And anybody going down that end of the garden had better be wearing very, very light feet or slippers or something like that, because we don't want to hear any nasty squelches of poor little frogs. And keep your door shut, Nigel, because they'll be in. Boing, 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 all over the blooming place. Anyway, thank you so much for sharing that. Life is out there in the outside, whilst life is trapped on the inside at the moment. There's a lot of spring life going on. It's a shame we can't see it, but it is out there. And thanks to Nigel there. I have to say, Nigel, you're looking a bit stern in that video. I don't know what you've done to yourself, but you certainly look different, as if you've had a very close shave, and I don't know, you look like you were one of these characters, like a villain in a one of these action thrillers. The way you just look at your face here. Look at there, look, doesn't he? He looks like some action thriller. Rutger Hauer comes to mind.
Hello.
There he is. Look, Rutger Hauer. Dear, oh dear. Anyway, it's nice to see you, Rutger. That's all we're going to do tonight. I'm going to have an early night. Sorry about that. It's after 9 o'clock. It's about time. I've done many. We did 2 hours yesterday. I'm a bit knackered. My back is okay, but I don't want to be sitting down for too long. And so that's it. Great show. Thank you, Tracy, Linda Kane. They're all at the same stage. Paul Smith, all good. Great. Lots of videos. We've caught up with the videos. There might not be so many videos tomorrow. I believe one has come in from Barry Stevens, which is great. We can spend more time on the phones and have a chinwag about this, that and the other, and life, the universe and everything. Hopefully there'll be some interesting news about Boris. Didn't want to go down that trip this evening, down that route this evening and speculate because who knows. But thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you have another interesting day tomorrow. My advice is to stay indoors. Apparently, there's lots of things to do. There's a bit of carpet cleaning to do. There's resticking the wallpaper back on. Maybe get rid of some of those stains that have somehow managed to get onto the ceiling. There's always something to do indoors. You don't want to be outside in the lovely, beautiful sunshine of the spring air, do you? Of course not. Anyway, lovely to see you. Thank you for being in touch. Thanks for coming into the thing. Kevin Hall has turned up right at the end. He's being a bit absent these days. I don't know what's going on. He's obviously got something going on. But take care. Thank you so much, one and all. Let me come back to my main thing and say to you, I'll be back again tomorrow morning for those who want to carry on with our reading of English journey at 9:30. It'll either be 9:30 or 10. It depends if I can get out and do something. I might just push it back to 10 o'clock. I won't promise at the moment. Tomorrow I'll know better, but, be aware, between 9:30 and 10 in the morning. And the chances are I won't have a video in the afternoon, so I may do another live. Hello, somebody is now ringing up just as I'm trying to cut the show, but let's see who that is very briefly. Hello, caller. Hello. Clearly nobody. All right, well, that's it then. Thanks so much. Take care. Oops, wrong button. Take care, one and all. I'll see you tomorrow. We'll see how it goes. Have a good night. Bye-bye for now. Bye-bye.